The galaxy watched in fear. The burners had stopped. The Ellerin fleets had frozen. And now, Earth was moving. Inside Earth Command, alarms stopped ringing. The war room was calm. Commander Rail stood in silence. He watched the star map, thousands of blinking lights. "Our fleet is ready," Admiral Kor said. Rail nodded. "No more hiding. No more defense. It's time they know what humans really are." Dr. Voss stepped forward. "The signal from Mara's ship confirmed it," she said. "The enemy's link is broken. The burners can't see, can't think. They're blind machines now." Kor raised an eyebrow. "So what now?" Rail didn't answer with words. He opened a secret command panel. One button. Glowing red. Operation name: Sci-Fi Dawn. Deep in space, Earth's true weapon moved for the first time. Not Wraith ships, not fighters. But Sci-Fi, a massive human warship hidden for years inside a dead star. It was the size of a moon. Its surface looked like black glass. It had no engines, because it didn't need to fly. It folded space. Built in secret, powered by rage. It carried one thing: the silence cannon, a weapon made from the heart of a collapsed star. It didn't explode. It erased. Rail had hoped they'd never use it. But the time for hope was over. The Ellerin watched from their homeworld, confused and afraid. Their fleets were scattered. Their leaders argued in panic. "We lost control of the burners. The humans attacked our core relay." High Lord Varn stood at the center, his voice like thunder. "Find them. Find their true base." An officer ran in. "Lord, we found something massive. It's moving." Varn turned. "Where?" The officer pointed at the map. "Right at us." Back aboard Sci-Fi, Rail stood on the command deck. Admiral Kor looked out at the stars. "They'll never see it coming." Rail nodded. "That's the point." They weren't just striking back. They were sending a message. Sci-Fi dropped out of folded space just beyond the Ellerin homeworld. The planet was blue and red. Cities covered its surface. Ships rushed to form a wall in front of it. But it was too late. Rail stared at the screen. "Target locked?" A voice answered, "Locked." "Fire." The silence cannon made no sound. A beam of white light stretched across space. Not heat, not fire, not plasma. Just pure erasure. The ships in front vanished. Then the upper sky of the planet. Then the surface. Then silence. No explosion, no screams. Just empty space where a world used to be. Every race watching from afar froze. Messages stopped. Fleets powered down. Even pirates went quiet. For the first time in history, the galaxy went still. The humans had spoken without words, and the stars went silent. Later, inside the Earth war room, no one celebrated. Rail sat quietly, a cup of cold tea beside him. Dr. Voss approached. "We got responses." Rail looked up. "From who?" "All of them," she said. "The other alien powers, even the ones who hated us. They're asking for peace." Admiral Kor chuckled softly. "Fear makes good listeners." Rail nodded. "Let's give them something else too." He looked out the window. Respect. In a hospital orbiting Earth, a Wraith pilot lay in recovery. It was Mara Chen. She stared at the stars through the glass above her bed. Chase entered, limping, smiling. "You missed the big moment," he joked. She smirked. "I heard it went quiet." "It did," he said. "Too quiet." They both looked up. "What now?" Chase asked. Mara closed her eyes. "Now, maybe they'll stop laughing at our legends. The stars were never the same after that day. The humans didn't conquer the galaxy. They didn't rule it. They just made it remember who they were, what they lost, and what they became." Not monsters, not ghosts. Just one simple word: human. The stars were quiet. Far from Earth, in a lonely part of space, a small human colony called New Terra floated on a cold planet. Only 200 people lived there. They farmed, worked, and looked up at the sky every night, wondering if someone out there was watching. One evening, something strange appeared above the sky. Not a star, not a ship they recognized. It was fast. It didn't answer their signals. And then it landed. The colony sent a message to Earth. It was full of fear. Unidentified craft has landed. No communication. Shapes moving outside the walls. Please respond. Please. The message ended in static. Screams echoed in the background. Then silence. Earth received the signal 12 hours later. The United Earth Defense Council listened in silence. The last scream, the static, and then nothing. They were attacked, said Commander Rail, a war veteran with silver hair and sharp eyes. But by who? Pirates, maybe, one leader said. No pirate ship moves like that, Rail replied. And pirates don't leave messages. He tapped a button and showed the council a final image. It came from a damaged drone above New Terra. A black mark burned deep into the ground where the ship had landed. It wasn't human, and it wasn't a symbol they'd seen before. They're not just testing us, Rail whispered. They're warning us. Far away, in a hidden part of the galaxy, a tall alien stood before a glowing screen. His eyes were cold. His armor was black with red lines across it. He was High Lord Varn of the Ellerin Empire, a powerful alien race that believed in strength, honor, and conquest. To them, peace was weakness, and humanity? They were nothing more than children playing in the dark. Varn looked at his second-in-command. The humans didn't fight back. They didn't have time, the officer said. Then they learned something today, Varn smiled. The galaxy belongs to the strong, and we are strongest. He turned and walked away, his boots echoing on the metal floor. Prepare the next strike. Back on Earth, Rail wasn't sleeping. He studied the strange black symbol again. It looked like a spiral, sharp and broken at the ends. Something about it made his skin crawl. He remembered an old story his father told him, about a race that lived in the shadows of stars, attacking without warning, leaving nothing behind. They were just myths, scary tales for children. But this mark, it matched the story. Rail opened a secret file. Classified information. Ancient texts. Old space warnings. They all spoke of one word. Ellerin. He leaned back in his chair. If it's really them, we're not ready. 3 days later, a human scout ship was sent to investigate. It was called the Silver Hawk, fast and silent. It reached the edge of New Terra's orbit. What they found was not just silence, it was horror. The colony was gone. Buildings destroyed. Burned into ash. No signs of life. But there was something strange. One of the walls still stood, blackened but strong. On it, someone or something had written a message using dark red liquid. This is only the beginning. The pilot of the Silver Hawk, Lieutenant Mara Chen, stared at the words. She sent the message back to Earth and whispered, "They're not just here to destroy. They want us to see this, to feel fear." Back at Earth HQ, the council met again. "Do we respond with force?" One asked. "With what?" Another replied. "We don't even know what weapons they have." Rail stood. "We don't fight like them, but we can learn." "What do you mean?" "We send spies. We study their tech, and we prepare something they don't expect." He looked out the window toward the stars. "They'd started this war, but we will show them. Humans don't break. We rise." In a deep underground lab, scientists and engineers began work on a secret project. Its name was whispered only in shadows. Project Wraith. The stars were no longer silent. Far above a small moon, 3 Ellerin scout ships flew in formation. They were fast, black, and shaped like blades. Inside the lead ship, an Ellerin pilot leaned forward. There is no sign of humans, he said with a smirk. They are not ready for this war. The Ellerin laughed. To them, humans were soft, weak, slow to learn. They expected another easy attack. But they were wrong. The scouts moved closer to the moon, and then they vanished. No explosions, no distress signals, just silence. On Earth, Commander Rail stood in the war room staring at the data. 3 Ellerin scouts entered Sector 7. Then, nothing. Admiral Kor nodded. Wraith worked. Rail allowed himself a small smile. Good. They don't know we've struck. Wraith, Earth's secret weapon, wasn't just one ship. It was a fleet of invisible killers. Ships with no heat, no sound, no trail. Built with stolen Ellerin tech and human fear. We'll make them feel what they made us feel, Rail said. On board one of the War 8th ships, pilot Lieutenant Mara Chen looked out at the stars. Her face was calm, but her fingers were tight on the controls. We were ghosts today, she whispered, and they didn't even see us coming. Her co-pilot, Jace, smiled. 3 kills, no scratches. Not bad for our first mission. Mara didn't smile back. They destroyed New Terra. They murdered families. This is just the beginning. She looked at a small photo on her screen, her brother, one of the victims. She swore silently, they will pay. Meanwhile, in Ellerin space, High Lord Varn was furious. He stood before a group of Ellerin leaders. The council chamber was large and cold. Bright lights showed every angry face. 3 of our ships lost, 1 lord growled. No signs, no remains, nothing. Some say it was a space storm, said another. Or a black hole. No, Varn said. This is human work. The room went silent. They built something new, something we didn't expect. One lord hissed, they are learning too fast. Varn's eyes burned with anger. Then we stop them now. We show them what true power is. He raised his voice. Prepare the Crimson Fleet. We strike their border worlds. No more shadows. No more mercy. Back on Earth, Rail received the new intel from spies in space. He looked at the report and frowned. They're bringing the Crimson Fleet, he said. That's no small attack. That's a full invasion. Admiral Kor leaned in. They want us to panic. Rail shook his head. They'll get a surprise instead. He opened a private channel. Tell Mara Chen, it's time. 3 days later, near the edge of Earth-controlled space, the Crimson Fleet arrived. 20 Ellerin warships, each one larger than any human cruiser, armed with plasma cannons and gravity bombs. They expected an easy fight, but space remained empty. Too empty. Then, out of nowhere, the sky changed. Wraith ships appeared, silent and deadly. They came from black clouds, from behind moons, even from inside asteroid fields. The Ellerin barely had time to react. Missiles flew, shields cracked, engines exploded. The Ellerin fleet screamed in confusion. Where are they? They're behind us. They're everywhere. Inside the lead Wraith ship, Mara locked onto the biggest Ellerin cruiser. This one's for New Terra, she said. She pressed the trigger. A silent torpedo flew straight through the enemy ship's shield and tore it in half. The battle lasted only 20 minutes. When it ended, half the Crimson Fleet was gone. The rest fled, broken, scared, and silent. On the Ellerin homeworld, High Lord Varn watched the footage. His hands were shaking with rage. They have no honor, he growled. They hide. They strike from shadows. His advisor Varish whispered, but they won. Varn smashed the table. This war is no longer about control, he said. It's about fear. We must become their nightmare. Back on Earth, humanity celebrated the first major victory. But Rail didn't smile. He looked at the stars and whispered, they're not done. And now they're angry. Beside him, Dr. Voss stepped forward. I cracked more of the Ellerin shard, she said. There's something we missed. Rail turned to her. What is it? She paused, then said softly, They didn't attack us first because they wanted to rule us. They did it because they're afraid of what we might become. Rail narrowed his eyes. Then they're right to be afraid. The earth was changing. Since the fall of New Terra, fear had spread across every human world. People looked up at the stars with worry. News channels spoke of the unknown enemy. Soldiers were being trained. Scientists were called to secret labs. Something big was coming. And in the heart of Earth's defense, deep inside a mountain base, leaders from across the world had gathered. They sat around a cold metal table. The air was heavy. Everyone was waiting. Commander Rail stepped forward. He placed the Ellerin symbol on the table, projected in glowing red light. This is not a mistake, he said. We are at war. Some of the leaders looked nervous. Others looked angry. They attacked without warning, Rail continued. They destroyed one of our colonies. They left a message in blood. They are not pirates. They are not here for peace. They want us to be afraid. One leader shook his head. We don't even know who they are. Rail stared at him. I do. He pressed a button. Old files appeared on the screen, scans of ancient alien carvings, broken ship logs, and damaged satellites. They are called the Ellerin, Rail said. An old empire. Hidden. Silent. For hundreds of years they watched from the dark. And now they've returned. The room fell silent. Then a voice from the corner spoke. It was Dr. Enya Voss, one of Earth's top scientists. They didn't just return, she said. They've been preparing, and now they believe we're ready to be crushed. She held up a strange black metal piece. This is from the New Terra attack site. It's not just a weapon. It's a memory shard. I cracked part of it. Rail stepped closer. What did it show? A battle. But not with us, she said. The Ellerin fought something long ago. Something powerful. They barely survived. That's why they stayed hidden. Do you think they see us as the same threat? Dr. Voss nodded. Or worse, they're afraid of what we might become. That night, Rail stood alone in the command center, watching the stars on the screen. He didn't sleep anymore. His thoughts were filled with New Terra's screams, the burned colony, the blood-written message. A voice behind him broke the silence. It was Admiral Kor, one of Earth's oldest war leaders. They think we're weak, Kor said. Soft, slow. They're wrong. Rail looked at him. But are we ready? Kor smiled coldly. They gave us no choice. It's time we stop talking and start building. Rail nodded. Project Noraith? Kor leaned closer. Yes. The ghosts of Earth are waking up. Far away, the Ellerin were not sleeping either. In the warship Bladewind, High Lord Varn studied a human weapon blueprint. He held it like a puzzle piece, trying to understand it. They adapt fast, he said. His second-in-command, Varesh, stood beside him. Their tech is basic, but their minds are dangerous. Varn nodded. Fear makes them smarter. Pain makes them grow. Varesh looked uneasy. Do we strike again? Varn turned. No. We wait. Let them feel brave. Let them build. Then, we break everything. On Earth, hidden inside a mountain deeper than anyone knew, Project Wraith had begun. Dozens of engineers, pilots, and AI experts worked day and night. No windows, no names, only silence. Their goal was simple: build a weapon no enemy could see, until it was too late. The lead designer, Talia Reeve, looked at the first dark ship design. It was sharp, cold, silent, covered in new stealth metal. It looked like a shadow with wings. We're not just building a ship, she whispered. We're building a ghost. Outside the lab, Rail watched the team work. His face showed no emotion, only purpose. This is our chance, he said. They want a war. We'll give them something they'll never forget. Elsewhere, in a quiet human outpost near the edge of known space, a strange signal was received. It was Ellerin language, but old, broken. A message lost in time. The signal ended with one word: warning. The technician didn't understand it. He logged the message and sent it to Earth. But no one read it in time. Because while humans prepared for war, something else was already watching from beyond even the Ellerin. The stars were quiet again, but this time not because of peace. It was the silence after a deadly strike. The Ellerin were retreating. Earth had hit them harder than they expected. Commander Rail stood at the edge of the Earth Defense Command screen, watching the replay. Wraith ships moved like shadows, silent, smooth, unstoppable. In just 20 minutes, they had torn the Crimson Fleet apart. "They never saw us," Admiral Kor said proudly. Rail nodded. "That's what makes the Ghost Fleet powerful." Behind them, a group of scientists studied new Ellerin wreckage. Dr. Anya Voss stepped forward, holding a small black cube. "This was inside their command ship," she said. "It's a communication device. I cracked it." Rail leaned closer. "What did it say?" Dr. Voss's eyes narrowed. "They're not just planning another attack. They're calling others." "Others?" She nodded. "Other races. Allies. Old ones. Hidden in the dark corners of the galaxy." Far away, in a deep part of space filled with gas clouds and broken stars, the Ellerin gathered. High Lord Varn stood inside the ancient war chamber of his ancestors. Around him were massive alien leaders, creatures with stone skin, glowing eyes, and sharp claws. These were not peaceful beings. These were warriors from forgotten wars. "The humans grow too fast," Varn told them. "They build weapons from fear. They'd strike from the shadows. They are ghosts now." One of the aliens, a beast with 4 arms and teeth like daggers, growled. "Then we burn their ghosts." Another said, "Do not fear the humans. Crush them before they rise." Varn raised a hand. "We don't just crush them. We erase them. Their systems, their colonies, their names, until nothing remains." On Earth, Rail met secretly with the leaders of the Lower Eighth Fleet. Mara Chen sat beside him, still wearing her pilot suit. Her eyes were cold, focused. "We hurt them," she said. "Now they want to end us." Rail looked at her. "They're calling others. If we wait, we'll be outnumbered." "What do we do?" Rail stepped toward the giant star map. "We take the fight to them, deep into Ellerin space. We become their shadow." Mara looked surprised. "A direct strike?" Rail nodded. "Yes, but not with a fleet. Just OURATs. Just ghosts." A few days later, deep in space, 5 Wraith ships entered enemy territory. No lights, no sounds, hidden by the stars. Inside the lead ship, Mara sat still. They were flying toward a massive Ellerin fuel station, the heart of their supply line. "Target locked," Jace whispered. Mara breathed out. "Let's make them feel fear." The attack was fast. Explosions stripped the void. Wraith ships came and vanished like lightning. By the time the Ellerin responded, it was too late. The station was gone. Burning debris floated in silence. High Lord Varn watched the fire from his distant warship. He clenched his fists. "They're not ghosts. They're poison." He turned to Varesh. "Send the message. It's time for the ancient ships. Time for the burners." Back on Earth, Rail received the warning late. Dr. Voss ran into the war room holding a screen. "They're activating something old," she said. "Something massive. Ships not seen for 1,000 years." Rail frowned. "What kind of ships?" She tapped the screen. "Burners. Engines so hot, they melt planets. Shields that eat energy. Weapons that erase metal." Rail stared in silence, then whispered, "And we just woke them up." That night, Mara Chen sat in the Bollior 8th hangar, cleaning her gear. She looked at her brother's photo again. "We hit them hard," she said softly. But now they're bringing monsters. She closed her eyes. Good. Let them come. The sky wasn't black anymore. It burned. The Ellerin had arrived again, but this time they didn't come alone. They brought the burners. Ancient ships, bigger than cities, covered in red metal, engines like small suns. They didn't fly. They marched through space. And Earth's defenses had never seen anything like them. In the war room under Earth's surface, Commander Rail stood frozen. The screen in front of him showed a planet, Vega 4, one of Earth's outer colonies. It was gone. Not attacked, not bombed. Gone. A glowing red storm had swallowed the entire surface. Nothing remained but fire and ash floating in space. Admiral Kor slammed his fist on the table. They're not just here to win, he said. They want us extinct. Rail nodded slowly. They're trying to break our spirit, planet by planet. Dr. Voss stepped forward. Her voice was low. I've seen this in old alien records. These ships don't stop. They keep burning until there's nothing left. Kor looked at Rail. We need to hit back. Now. Rail answered, not with force, with fear. In a secret hangar deep in the asteroid belt, no Wraith pilots prepared. Mara Chen stood in front of her squad, faces tired, eyes hard. They burned Vega 4, she said. Wiped out 2 million people like they were nothing. No one spoke. Mara continued, we can't stop the burners with fire, but we can strike their minds. She tapped a star map. There's a command node here. It feeds data to all their burners. It's deep in Ellerin space, but unguarded. They don't think we dare go that far. Chase frowned. Because it's a suicide run. Mara smiled coldly. Only if we fail. 12 Wraith ships vanished into enemy space. No trail, no signal, just cold silence. They passed ruined colonies and burning moons. They saw human ships floating like broken bones. They didn't stop. The command node was hidden inside a black star cluster. Invisible to most radars, guarded by a thick minefield of energy nets and drone turrets. But more Wraiths didn't go through. They went under. Using stealth drives and gravity tricks, they slid through cracks in space like ghosts. Mara led the way. Cut engines, she whispered. Glide in silent. The ships coasted through the black field, dodging death by inches. And then they were in. Inside the command node, Ellerin technicians moved slowly. They had no alarms. No guards. They believed no one would ever find this place. They were wrong. Mara's ship fired first. A precision rail shot pierced the center of the node's power core. Then all 12 Wraith ships launched micro-missiles in perfect silence. Boom! The node cracked apart like glass under pressure. And with it, every burner ship across the front lines paused. Their fire stopped. Their engines slowed. They didn't fall, but they froze. Across the galaxy, humans noticed. On Earth, cheers broke out in every control room. They did it. Someone yelled. They stopped the burners. But Rail didn't cheer. He stared at the screen. Not stopped, he whispered. Just stunned. Back at the edge of the Ellerin Empire, the Wraith fleet turned to escape. But the enemy had finally noticed. An alert flashed across all enemy channels. The G8 OSTs havit struck the heart. Thousands of Ellerin ships moved to intercept. Mara Chen's voice came through the comms. We won't outrun them. Too many. Jay shouted, What do we do? Mara took a deep breath. We finished the job. She turned her ship toward the largest Ellerin data relay tower, the one keeping the burners linked. Target the relay. All fire on me. Make this count. One by one, the Wraith ships followed her. A final charge. No escape. Just purpose. They flew straight into enemy fire. Shields cracking. Hulls tearing. But they didn't stop. Mara's torpedo hit the relay dead center. The tower exploded in a burst of light that shook the stars. Then the screen went black. On Earth, no one spoke for a long moment. Then a soft beep. A new signal. From the edge of Ellerin space, a single wraith ship, barely alive, was returning. Rail ran to the comms. "Mara." The voice was weak but clear. "Relay's gone. Burners are blind. We made them feel it." Static. Then silence. Rail stood still. He turned to the room. "Prepare the fleet." Admiral Core raised an eyebrow. "We're attacking." Rail nodded. "They think the fire in the stars was theirs. But now, it's ours."